This is Max Verhoeven student ID TRE16003622, and this is coaching assignment 1. So, roles of a coach. A coach is a person involved in the direction, instruction, and training of the operations of a sports team or of individual sports people. There are 5 main roles of a coach. These are, well, 4, which are the innovator, motivator, role model, and also manager. So, innovator. An innovator is a coach who brings success due to providing their own practices, strategies, and encouragement. This is largely down to their creativity, and therefore, if a coach is more creative, then they'll have more of a chance of bringing success to their team or individual. This would include them creating new techniques, practicing styles, and assessing the competition. A coach may research about a team and see that they play a particular way, meaning that they could make their team play a different way in order to counteract against the opposition's way of playing, in order to outplay them and possibly win. This can help performers as it can create new ways to cause the opposition hassle in order to try and outsmart them, and therefore be able to play them better and beat them in the game. For example, in 2017 when England played Italy in the Six Nations, Italy's defensive coach came up with the tactic that when the Italian players tackle an England player, they wouldn't commit any players to the ruck, meaning that there is no offside line for them, and they are free to move behind England's side of the ruck and block off any passes, making it very difficult for England to play the ball and play their free-flowing passing rugby. This proved to be successful in the first half, as England were taken back by the tactic and didn't know what to do, resulting in a 10-5 lead to Italy at half-time. However, England came back from behind and went on to win the game as they adjusted to the tactic, meaning that Italy were doing it less and then England could play their rugby again. Although they ended up losing, the fact that they were beating England at half-time and causing them many problems when they are huge underdogs every time they play shows that the innovative ideas from the defensive coach to not commit any players to the ruck and not to create any offside line was helping the Italians to get a result against England for a long period of the game, meaning it was successful. Motivator. A motivator is someone who provides a stable environment in which to learn in a positive and safe atmosphere. From a coach, this may be giving constructive feedback and encouragement so that the players want to play well for the team. They will try to find the positives for a performer when all they can see is negatives, so the performer can try and gain a different perspective, and therefore they may want to compete and try harder for the team or themselves if they are in an individual sport. The positive of the coach being a motivator is that they can bring fresh hope and a new perspective to a player who may not be willing to play well for the team as they have lost their motivation to do so. The benefit of this is that if every player is motivated to do their best for the team, and they will all try hard for each other, meaning that there is more of a chance that the team can be successful because everyone wants to win. If there is one person in the team who isn't as motivated as everyone else, then it can result in them letting the team down as they won't have the same goals, meaning that they may not be bothered about the result. They aren't bothered about working towards the main goal, which in a team sport would be very negative as it can result in conflicts amongst the players if the other members are more passionate about winning. A coach who is a motivator is very important as it can result in very good performances. For example, Jurgen Klopp in football is an exceptional coach and a very good motivator as he has a good connection with his players, which causes them to play better as they all share the same common goal. However, in some individual sports, motivation can be harder to come by. For example, Australian tennis player Nick Kyrgios is a very good talent in tennis, but is known for his bad attitude and sometimes lacks motivation in order to unlock his full potential. This is where a coach who is a motivator would be beneficial as they could encourage him to play to his best, which should result in him moving up in the world rankings and winning Grand Slams. Role model. This is where the coach would be looked at by others as someone who can be imitated and someone who they may wish to follow in the footsteps of. In most situations, the players may look to the coach as a source of inspiration as a role model, especially in non-elite and level and with children as the coach and with children. as the coach is usually someone who they may look up to. A coach can influence a player's social, personal, psychological, and health development. This would have a positive impact on their mental health, as it can give them motivation to achieve something the coach may have achieved, or if the coach asks them to achieve something, they may feel more motivated to do so, as their role model has said it. Also, the personal development can be improved, as a role model is someone who is a good person, and someone who you may wish to follow in the footsteps of. Therefore, if the coach is someone who is a good person and who has good characteristics and traits, and then the player may decide to imitate these qualities, which will lead to them developing personally as well as a player. The psychological development will have the biggest impact on the player's performance, because it can help them to have the right mindset when playing a game, which can lead to a better overall performance. For example, if a coach is a role model and they have a strong passion for the game and they always have a winning mentality, then the player may be more likely to follow this, meaning that they will have a winning mentality and a strong passion to play, meaning that their performance is increased because they have the right mindset to achieve what they want to, as their determination will be higher due to this. Manager. This is where they have the final say on what happens when it comes to the day of a game. This may be tactics, formations, who plays, in what position, and roles for the day. This can be one of the most important roles of the coach when it comes to the team performing on a day, because they have to set out a team, formation, and the tactics that they think will get the best result out of the game. Therefore, the game ends up being a heavy loss, and then it'll be largely down to the managerial side of the coach if the tactics are wrong or if the formation didn't work. This can be what causes the most stress to a coach, as the blame of a result may go towards them. For example, if they decide to play a formation with 3 defenders in football against an attacking team who has 3 very good attackers, and the opposing team ends up scoring many goals and thrashing your team, then the blame mainly goes to the coach, as they shouldn't have put that formation forward, as it wasn't the right one to use for that particular game. However, there are some tactics and formations which can have a very positive impact on performance, as it may result in the team winning or getting a good result. For example, in football, Chelsea were known for being a very good defensive team, and therefore manager Antonio Conte decided to switch up the style of the Premier League when he joined by playing a formation with 3 at the back, but with wing-backs who can provide width when going forward and who can come back and form a strong back 5 when defending. This proved to be a very good formation and tactic, as he decided to use this throughout the whole of his first season, in which he won the league title. This shows that some tactics and formations can be very beneficial to teams, which is why coaches need to get it right when they do it. Skills. There's 3 skills, which are communication, organisation, and problem solving. Communication. This is one of the most important skills in order to coach participants effectively. This is the exchange of information, which may be verbal or non-verbal. Verbal communication may just be speaking to the group and giving instructions, whereas a non-verbal communication may be using hand signals or maybe sign language if necessary. Usually, coaches may use both when trying to explain something, as it can be easier to listen to instructions whilst doing non-verbal communication as well, as it may give added clarity to the instructions, which is especially important for coaches to do when they are coaching children, as they need non-verbal communication as well to have a better understanding of tasks. Communication is very important because without the use of communication when coaching, participants would become very confused with instructions and may not know what they are doing. And also when coaching children, it is very important to make sure that you have their attention and that they are all in one area doing what they are meant to be doing, as they can be held to control and they don't always listen to instructions at the first time of asking. Furthermore, this is vital at the elite level, as well as instead of having to listen to develop like children may have to, they will more likely have to listen in order to understand tactics and different plays in a game. For example, in rugby, there are many different plays that a fly half can call in a game, and therefore the coach needs to make sure that all of the backs are aware of the calls, as if they aren't, they could ruin the whole play, and therefore the attack. Organisation. At any level, it is very important that coaches organise. This is because they are in charge of training sessions at all levels, meaning they need to be responsible for the equipment that is needed in the training session, of making sure that people are where they are meant to be in the session and that the activities are appropriate and beneficial. Furthermore, at a lower level, there are more things that need to be organised as well by the facilities, as at the elite level they have their own facilities where they can train every day, whereas at a lower level they are less accessible, meaning they need to be organised on where the sessions and games are going to be and if they have the correct equipment available to them. As well as this, when coaching children, the coach will have to be organised with health and safety checks, especially because children are more prone to injuries due to the fact that they are less developed and to have worse balance, meaning they are more clumsy. For example, at the elite level or even at lower levels, football players tend to train without shin pads, although they are part of the health and safety equipment. When coaching children, it is important they wear shin pads to training as well as games, as they are more prone to injury and therefore they need more protective equipment. Moreover, participant numbers is a big thing that coaches need to be organised with, as they need to know how much they need of each bit of equipment. Those may not bring enough of something, meaning that not all of the participants can actually participate in the session. Problem solving. Problems may arise from participants, equipment, facilities, opponents, and transport. Amongst elite athletes, the most common form of problem is opponents, as they don't have to worry about equipment, facilities, or transport, as they have it all there for them already, and therefore the coach themselves don't have to worry about a problem occurring from this. However, there may be problems that occur with participants at the elite level, as there may be injuries within a squad, and therefore the coach will have to work a way around the injuries in order to get a team out for a game that they think can get a positive result. On the other hand, coaches at lower levels and coaches who coach children will have problems of all of these. With participants, they will have participants who have all different abilities and there will be different genders as well. This means that for a coach who is coaching children, they must consider all of the abilities and make sure that it is fair for all participants, and that the health and safety regulations are in place. Also, they may encounter equipment that is faulty, or that may not be appropriate to the session, meaning that they will need to get around this problem by thinking of different drills where they could either use less equipment or different equipment. As well as the equipment, the facilities will need to be booked as well unless it is at a local park or field. This means that if the facilities are booked out, or there is an AstroTurf and it can be used, then it is up to the coach to either cancel a session or try to overcome the problem and coach the session somewhere else. They may also need to reorganise a session in order to overcome this problem. With transport, the participants would need to arrange their own lifts to games or maybe training sessions. This can be very difficult for some people, and therefore, in order to have the highest participation as possible, there needs to be transport links, or coaches would have to arrange some transport in order to make sure that participants can make it to sessions or games, as especially at a young age it is important that they are attending clubs, sessions or games in order to develop their skills as they progress to becoming an athlete when they are older.